Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's episode of Roundabout Sports, presented by Harsh Construction LLC and Interstate 70 Sports Media. For Harsh Construction LLC, over 50 years combined experience in the field of outdoor work, landscaping, and construction. Call for a free quote today at 618-363-9818. That is 618-363-9818. Harsh Construction LLC, proud partner of Interstate 70 Sports Media. And of course, Interstate 70 Sports Media ourselves, where our passion is our profession. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. It is a much warmer Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. I'm the maestro, Jeremy Carp, soon to be joined by my co-host, Adam Frex, and we got quite a bit to talk about this evening. And I guess the thing I'm going to kick us off with, I know we're going to talk about the Winter Olympics, we're going to talk about spring training, but I want to kick off a story that just came out today. And before I do that, though, as always, Roundabout Sports can be found on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Amazon Music, any and all streaming platforms out there. You know, the usual spiel, of course. And of course, be sure to follow us on Facebook, X, and on the official Interstate 70 Sports Media YouTube channel. Now, with all that said, I want to kick it off, of course, by bringing in my co-host and partner, Adam Frex. Adam, how's it going, my friend?
Not too bad, brother. How are you? How you doing?
Okay. I'm doing pretty good. I hear you. Awesome. We're perfect. I will say this. You know who's not perfect, though? Rashee Rice. Here's the thing. And folks, for those that are just tuning in to our show for the first time, I'm based in the St. Louis area. Adam is based in the Kansas City area. Well, once again, Kansas City Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice is back in the news, and once again, it's all for all the wrong reasons. So, Rice's ex-girlfriend has filed a civil lawsuit against the Chiefs wide receiver, alleging he assaulted her multiple times over a 19-month period. Ms. Jones filed the lawsuit on Monday in Dallas County District Court, and the lawsuit alleges that Rice abused her numerous times from December of 2023 through July of 2025. The lawsuit also claims the abuse happened in the homes they shared in the Victory Park area of Dallas and Lee's Summit, Missouri, which, for those you know, is a suburb of Kansas City. So, I guess the first thing I'm going to throw out there is, what in the absolute hell is going on here, Adam?
Man, it's kind of tough. These are such touchy situations to talk about because, like, how much do we know? Like, I know the thing is, it's I don't know. We run into these judgment, and we don't wait long enough to actually get the outcome to see what happened. Now, should we take these allegations serious? Absolutely. Should they be investigated? Absolutely. But until there's like a full investigation, it's hard for me to hop on the train of just condemning someone when I don't really know what happened. Now, what you will run into with that is his previous incidents. I don't think this is his first incident with the girl. I think this has been brought up before. I think she had just posted it on social media. I want to say 4 or 5 months ago. And then you get into the car wreck thing. So after a while, even if these are just allegations, now there's a trail of allegations that are tending to follow you. So and he's at a pivotal point in his career. Also with the Chiefs, it's kind of what do you do from here going out? It's really on him and what he's able to really keep his nose clean and really the outcome of this situation.
No, absolutely. And, you know, According to the Chiefs, they said in a statement today, the club is aware of the lawsuit and remains in communication with the NFL. And of course, messages with Rice's agents and Rice himself were not returned to ESPN. Now, originally, Jones, Rice's ex-girlfriend, posted photos of the alleged abuse on Instagram last month, showing noticeable bruises, I believe a laceration on her leg, but definitely a bruised lip, scratches on her face and shoulders, multiple other photos of damaged property. And at the time, she referred to the alleged abuser indirectly as the father of her two children. So, I mean, once again, opens up a can of worms, asks a lot more questions that we got going on here. So, yeah, I'm definitely curious at how all of this plays.
Yeah, it's definitely for me. It's definitely one of those things. Before I can have an actual opinion, I got to see how it plays out because there's a lot of because you'll get the flip side on the internet where it's like, well, he just posted a picture on Valentine's Day with his new girlfriend, and it's so what you do is you'll get skeptics from the other side of like, is she just doing this just for the money? So, and like you don't want to say that either because if she's a victim in this situation. So it's hard to honestly have like a concrete opinion on what should happen. An investigation should happen and just let that play out.
Right. No, I do in that regard, I do get that. So that is kind of one of the big headlines going on, at least as far as Kansas City. I do know you actually informed us today about we've talked about Patrick Mahomes and the cap situation that the Kansas City Chiefs are in. Now, the Chiefs, you said, have done a little bit of restructuring to help open up some of that cap space. Is that correct?
Yeah, they do it every year. They've done it since after he signed his $500 million deal. So $450 million deal. It's happened every single year.
And it works out because I know they were in negative cap space. This will pay off dividends for them.
Yeah, dude, it's one of those things. You'll see Chris Jones restructure. You're going to see Creed. You'll see Trey Smith restructure. What they'll do is that they'll just turn it into liquidity, give them the signing bonus, and kick it down the road further. That's just kind of what the GM Brett Veach has done really since the beginning of Patrick Mahomes. Just really this era of Chiefs football.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Also, I will say this. Here is the question I have for you. Does Tyreek Hill make his return to Kansas City now that he is a free agent?
Man, that one's tough. If he's not coming off the ACL, if he's not coming off the ACL and also the accusations last year for him as well, so it's kind of tough. If you would have asked me 6 months ago, I'd say yes, but right now I'm not completely sure. Oops, sorry, my cat wanted to make an entrance.
It'd be like that.
I'm not sure. It's going to be at the 1 year proof deal, $5 to $8 million, kind of what we did with Hollywood Brown or even Juju Smith-Schuster his first year he was here.
Also, want to send a good evening to Jimmy Harris, the executive director of the Independent St. Louis Wrestling Hall of Fame, who I'm happy to say I'm excited for the Hall of Fame ceremony this upcoming year for class of 2026. For the second year in a row, I will be the master of ceremonies for the event. And because, as if me getting married in July did not make it a busy enough month already, this on top of it. So I'm extremely grateful, though. God bless you, Jimmy, and everybody at the Hall. at the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame. Also, we got Eddie Jamison, longtime fan, tuning in, saying, "Go Chiefs." Now, he does not want Tyreek to come back to Kansas City. And like to the point
you're
you
going to get a
said,
lot of that sentiment.
yeah, I do understand a lot of that. And I will say, folks, I'm getting excited because in about 10 to 15 minutes, author, broadcaster Joey Zanaboni is going to be joining us here on Roundabout Sports. That's the game plan, of course. We look forward to it. But until then, we still got a lot of stuff to talk about on our end. And I think the big thing that a lot of people are talking about is, of course, the Winter Olympics are the hottest thing going right now. And, we take a look at the Winter Olympic Games in Italy and the medal count right now. As it stands, Norway, if we're going by, well, honestly, if we're going by both here, a lot of countries go by, of course, gold medals first in the standings. Norway leads regardless with 15 gold medals. Now, the United States leads with 11 silver medals, but in total, Norway leads with 33 total medals, followed by Italy, the host country, and the United States bringing up third place with 24. Now, with that said, I want to make a very interesting tidbit in piece of information here. So, the country of Georgia won a silver medal. They're out of athletes, though. There's no more athletes that are scheduled to compete in the Olympics. Now, you might be wondering, why the hell should I or would I care about the country of Georgia? Well, it's simple. I'm not asking you to, nor do I ever expect you to. But it's funny because two things. Number one, that was actually the country I was born in, and I was adopted there, adopted at a month old. So for basically 29 years and 11 months, I've been living in the St. Louis area. The 1 month I haven't, I lived in the country of Georgia and Moscow. Now, the second reason all this is kind of funny to me is quite simple. The fact this is the first this is the first medal they have ever won in the Winter Olympics. Ever. Never won a Winter Olympics medal, gold, silver, or bronze before until now. So I gotta give a little bit of props there. I do get a kick out of that. So it's the little things, you know.
No, it's one of those things. You got to have. It's I think everybody has a little bit of pride in kind of where they come from. Never knew that you were born in Georgia, dude. That's really cool. But it's one of those things where you watch the Olympics long enough and you catch yourself rooting for random countries. Granted, Georgia's not as random for you, but if I see Jamaica in the bobsled, I'm rooting for Jamaica.
Cool runnings, baby.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
No, absolutely. No, even then, I still find it random. Now, I'm going to ask you a football question before we move on. Have you ever seen a free agency period where the entire starting offensive line became free agents heading into the next season?
No. Is that Cleveland?
That's that. As of now, unless one of them come back, we are looking at this being the case for the Cleveland Browns, because Jack Conklin's a free agent. Wyatt Teller has already announced he's not returning. Ethan Pochik is injured and most likely won't be returning. Joe Bitonio, my personal favorite, who is going to break my heart if he doesn't come back, I'd rather him retire, let alone anything, because it'd break my heart if he went to another team. Cam Robinson came in late, but DeJuan Jones would be the only main returning offensive lineman for Cleveland, which brings me to my point. Draft Caden Proctor. If one of those 2 first-round picks are not the left tackle out of Alabama, you have officially lost me.
It's the Browns, brother. It's the Browns.
They're going to draft a kicker, and I'm going to just be done with it.
They're going to draft a quarterback.
No, they are not going. Not going. The Raiders are going to draft Mendoza. You know it. You know it, brother.
No, I agree. I mean, who else? What's the better option at that point?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm telling you, and I think we talked about it 2 weeks ago. The Chiefs are probably. It was either us or it was a committee of us. The Chiefs getting Jeremiah Love out of Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm not big on taking a running back in the first round. Like, look who won the Super Bowl. Look who's at the teams that were in the Super Bowl. You have a guy like Saquon, who's really been the one who's worked out, and he was able to help the Eagles kind of push over. And it's not going to be the sexy pick. Give me an edge guy. Give me something defensively. Give me even a wide receiver if there's one that's doable there. But I get it. Love has a lot of fanfare that comes with them. But unless you're getting a guy like Bijan Robinson that can plug and play into this system, and you'll have to go back. Andy really hasn't relied on one running back since Kareem Hunt's rookie year. So we've had
that's why I think. But that's why I also think at some point they might switch it up. Because to me, the offense, look, off-field troubles aside, and boy, there are a lot of them with this team. Yeah. All of that aside, this is a very talented offensive team. Still is. I think you're letting go of Jawan Taylor, so you can also go the offensive line route. If there's a lot of great, to me, this is what when I look at this draft, I look at 2 things: a lot of great receivers and a lot of great linemen.
Yeah.
If you don't need them, you are going to have a bad draft, probably. This is not a good quarterback class. There's not really many. There's a couple good running backs. There's a couple really good running backs, but other than that, not really. Honestly, even at the edge, to me, it was last year's draft where the edges thrived.
No, I agree with that. It's one of those things, though. The Chiefs have a top 10 pick. Really, any team in the top 10 pick. This is your kind of opportunity to get you an actual first round. There's that old saying that there's really only like 15 first-round picks, and then everybody else, it kind of drops off after that. Each year is different, so you'll have bigger classes that are like really great at first round pick talent. But it's one of those things. Chiefs have a first round pick. We couldn't get to the quarterback, or the Chiefs couldn't get to the quarterback last year. If you're really looking at an issue, even with how good they were defensively, we really the Karlaftis contract, that was interesting to me last year, and he's not really a big pressure sack guy. He's a work hard guy. Chris Jones, who knows what's going to happen to him with, they have the trade rumors happen, which I don't think he's going to go nowhere. But for me, I really think it's the line, and we had more filling in he was supposed to be our starting left tackle last year, so he'll move over to right tackle. Or that's what I'm saying. Go line either way, but it's also, I know it's not a sexy pick that people get excited about.
It's funny. Sometimes it's the non-sexy picks that pay the most dividends, that do the biggest wonders for a team. Now, let me ask you this. Is there a player that you specifically have been having your eye on as far as the Chiefs potentially drafting?
Oh, let me see. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the kid's name, but there was an edge. I don't want to say he's out of Michigan or Michigan State. I can't remember off the top of my head. Uh, yeah, I'm not sure, man. To really off the top of my head, I haven't really dove into the draft. Um, Tom Fernelli, he has the Chiefs drafting. Oh shoot, he has Chiefs drafting the wide receiver. David Bailey, Texas Tech. That was the guy. Granted, I don't know if he'll drop to us, but if that was somebody we're looking
Okay.
for, it'd be that guy.
I was going to say, I mean, yeah, Texas Tech, 22 years old. God, I feel so old. But I'll say this, unanimous All-American last year, first team All Big 12. And, last year was his breakout year, 12 and a half sacks, which was as many as the 2 seasons before that combined. So, I mean, you take it. I could see it. I think the Chiefs could use. There's 2 routes they could go. They could go the offensive juggernaut route and keep that ball rolling, or they could really build a defensive first identity, and set the pace.
What's won the last 4 Super Bowls? It's been defense. Even the Chiefs back to back was defense. Granted, they had a good offense that year. The first year they won the Super Bowl. When the Eagles, their defensive line was killer. Seattle, top defense all year long.
I was saying defense was what won it. I was gonna say, you really take. Well, I'll go even past that, and just so we can look at the last 10 Super Bowl. We'll look at the last 10 Super Bowl champions. And so let me fast forward here. All right. So, okay, it's 2026. So we'll just go to 2016. Broncos beating the Panthers. That was defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be real. There was no way Peyton Manning had a good game that one. Then you had the Patriots beating the Falcons in the 28-3 game. That was honestly a mixture of the defense coming through clutch and the offense having a miraculous comeback.
I'll give that offense though, because
I'd lean more offense. I would lean more offense, but defense. Look, you have to hold them to 28 still.
Right.
The comeback doesn't happen without that. So then we go Eagles and Patriots. Eagles win 41-33. That was a defense. I'm going to say defense because that D-line especially came to Brandon Graham, Chris Long, they came to play.
That's true.
Brady
that one's tough to say straight up defense because both teams, Brady had over 5.
And then we come to the worst Super Bowl, though. This is the worst one. The Patriots and Rams, 13-3. Yeah, that was defense, but that was bad defense. That was just terrible. Yeah, terrible. It wasn't defenses and shutdown. It was defenses and shit. So then we fast forward the next year, the first one of the Mahomes era. The Chiefs taking on the 49ers, Chiefs winning 31-20. Who's your nod for that?
Even then the defense kept them in for so long. So, but I would say for the overall year for that team, the Niners were a defensive team and the Chiefs were an offensive team. So the offensive team, that's kind of how I kind of calculate it going into the Super Bowl. It's like you'll have a team that's either a heavy offense or a team that's heavy defense. And so I think defense won that game, but they were an offensive-heavy team.
Yeah, I do agree with that. I really do. And then honestly, 31-9, Bucks beating the Chiefs. This is an interesting one. I think it was a mixture of defense and just terrible discipline by the Chiefs. It was they're very undisciplined game.
We're also coming off both of our tackles, both of the Chiefs tackles being hurt. Then they just got their ass whipped. Well, yeah, that was just Vita Vea is a monster. And then you had White that year. They had an absolute squad of a team.
I do agree with that one. Then we go, okay, we have to go with the Rams and Bengals. You would have to go defense because Aaron Donald is just the guy. I mean, offense did enough.
Right.
The offense did enough, but that was defense that took down Joe Burrow and that high-octane offense.
Even look at some of these Super Bowl matchups. A lot of times, if it's an offensive-heavy team versus a defensive-heavy team, I'm usually going to pick the defensive-heavy team to win that Super Bowl. And I feel like it's still over a period of time, this 10 years, I think you're going to see those defenses, those elite defenses are able to stop those top-tier offenses.
So the next two Chiefs Super Bowls, who did you have? Do you think those were offensive or defensive?
No, they were totally defense. Man, you go throughout the year, it was a struggle. A lot of times that first year, it was hard to. That was Mahomes' MVP year, but we had such a great defense. We had such a great secondary, especially Chris Jones was balling out. So you know what? For that particular team that year, I'll say it was an offensive team, but our defense was so stellar throughout the playoffs.
Okay, and then you've already said, the Eagles and Seahawks both were defensive heavy. So the majority of it was defensive based, which – I mean, we'll take it.
Running the ball and playing defense, man. It's what wins games in the NFL. It's never changed since I've been watching it. Quarterbacks, I think, can sling the ball a little bit better, but it's the schematically, if you can run the ball and you can have a top-tier defense, you have 90% chance to win the game.
What cracks me up is you bring that one up, and this is an outlier performance. The St. Louis Rams winning against the Titans. People don't realize Marshall Faulk had 28 rushing yards that game. And yet, despite that, he was such a huge reason for that offense gelling the way they did that game because the Titans put so much focus on him.
Did you guys the Rams had a top 10 defense that year. I don't think people will remember that because
people don't realize that. Like Kevin Carter,
the greatest show on turf. It's one of the most entertaining I've ever seen in terms of just offensive football, just the powerhouse that they were. But their defense gets so overlooked that it in itself. I wish people would have like the perspective, because they were just whipping teams' ass.
Well, I think what cracks me up about it is when you take into account that 3-year period. That was the main 3-year period of the greatest show on turf. 1999, great offense, great defense. 2000, great offense, maybe even better offense, awful defense.
Yep.
Just gave up. They were the first team to give up over 400 points and score over 500. And then somehow in 2001, it was, they were better than 1999. Yeah. They finally got because then you had an even better offense and the defense got much better. So it's like you're gelling everything together. Those 3 years were extremely fun. And I look at a lot of teams now and they build solid running game foundations. They have great defenses and they still keep, like you said, to your point, they can still sling the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's the main thing.
That's where game manager is such a slur, and it should be appreciated more, especially if you have a team within a system that winning football is defense and running the ball. So if you can have a game manager that can make the hard throws, but also not turn it over, Sam Darnold this year, he would pick people apart when he needed to. He would be the gunslinger when he needed to, but he also managed the game within the game. So that's how you end up a guy like that winning the Super Bowl. And he had a great season this year.
Yeah, Sam Darnold honestly really had a great season, and I was happy for him because how it all played out. Now, talking about, you know, football stats and things we don't really discuss much, this happened to come to me just a few minutes ago in the middle of our conversation. Um, and I wanted to ask you your belief on this. You know, do you remember the late great Junior Seau? It
Absolutely.
was determined. Now, he had played 20 years in the NFL. It had determined his brain had one of, not the most severe case of CTE. A colleague of his determined, be it based off his own predictions, that he had suffered over 1,500 concussions.
Sayal or the
Yeah.
teammate? Was you old enough to watch him play in his prime?
Yes. Because
Oh,
I believe, I mean, he was feared. He was absolutely a warrior.
yeah, no, absolute
Um,
dog. Absolute
because
dog.
I was gonna say I mean, he was arguably one of the best of the like defensive players of the whole '90s.
Absolutely. This,
Because I know because for me, I'll be honest, the year I really started watching football, what like on a regular basis, well, probably 2000, 2001. So he was still 10 years in the league, but still, high octane commodity.
now, dude, if you would have, so he took the Chargers to the Super Bowl in '95, and they got absolutely murdered by the
Mhm.
Cowboys or by the Niners.
Niners.
By the
Yeah.
Niners, yeah. So, but they the Chargers had a quarterback named Stan Humphries, which most people don't know, and there's a reason why that is. They had a running back. Nate, goes back to they had a good running back in Natron Means, who was kind of like Jerome Bettis like, but he was a bigger guy. But Junior Seau is the reason that they were in that defense and how good he was, and he was just running through everybody. He was putting his face through everybody, especially at a time when the game was so violent. So when you say 1,500 concussions over a 20-year career, I would believe it because think about all the times that they were practicing training camp, two a days, full tackling, full pads. So it's you don't just have 20 years of the games, you also have 20 years of two a days in training camp.
I absolutely agree. And I'm not trying to cut this conversation short, but our guest has arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, first I want to talk about his book, and I know he will be on to talk about his book. That is St. Louis Sports for Kids, Forever Lore in the 314. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a broadcaster, he's a public address announcer, and he is most importantly, above all, a genuinely good guy. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Joey Zanaboni here on Roundabout
Hey,
Sports.
hey guys, thanks for having me on. Appreciate you taking some time to talk about the book.
Hey, no problem, Joey. I know you are in the middle. This is a rare treat. You are in the middle of calling a game right now.
That's right, I'm at
Um,
halftime of a basketball game.
yeah, I was gonna say. So first off, I guess I should say, how's the game going?
It's going well. It's going well. I've got a few things here this week. Got the MLS team, St. Louis City, starting over the weekend. We've got the indoor team playing that day as well. So, trying to balance out going and blowing out my voice and being excited for the guys though and doing it. And yeah, it's going well. It's fun.
Well, that's awesome. So I wanted to definitely bring up the book, and I'm gonna try to get it to where we can actually see you. And folks tuning in on the live stream, he's on on your right side. So tell us a little bit about the St. Louis Sports for Kids.
Yeah, this is a great book to bring books back to the hands of kids and get parents excited as well. Part of the reason I wanted to do it is that there's a poll that was released between Nielsen and HarperCollins. They did a poll that showed only 40% of parents consider reading to their children to be fun. So I first and foremost wanted to get a real book that can bring people together around some great memories from my own life. You know, the McGuire home run chase, the Kurt Warner Super Bowl, the Mike Jones Super Bowl. I mean, just everything. It's a lot. It's 20 different sports, everything from baseball, football, to wrestling, chess, auto racing. You should look for readypress.com, or better yet, just follow me on social media at Joe_Zana. I'll come by. I'll hand deliver. If you buy one, hand deliver one, and sign it for you and get it to you to enjoy with your family. Because it's really important to keep sports traditions alive in this city, and it's very important as well for the kids to understand reading is really where it's at.
I was gonna say, where can folks? I know you said some of it already, but where can folks get the book if they want to read it? Parents want to read it to their kids.
It's on readypress.com. Follow me at Joey_Zana across social media. Shoot me a message or leave a comment. Again, I'd love to personally deliver it to you and make it, part of your day and part of an arrival of something that I think is really special. It's a hardcover book. It's about 112 pages, and it's got something for everybody. So I hope it brings people together. And I'll be at several locations around the St. Louis area for any folks listening. I'll be at the St. Louis Ambush games February 21st and 27th. And then I'll be at the Main Street Books in St. Charles March 4th, Spencer Road Library March 7th, Novel Neighbor in Webster Groves on March 10th. So come and see me, and would love if we could really keep this alive and keep it going.
All right, go ahead, Adam.
What was the inspiration for you wanting to get into the St. Louis lore? Just to show kids, just kind of the history of St. Louis sports.
Yeah, I mean, growing up here, you have so many great memories, and so many people stick around in this community. Wayne Gretzky has a home here, and Chris Pronger, just so many of those Blues guys. It's like, why? What's special about this city? Because there is something special. It's the sense of community, the sense of support that we have for each other. Certainly take sports seriously, and we use them to pattern, really everything after, it feels like. And it's just a pleasure to be able to be back here and announcing locally in the area and having some opportunities. Once I settled back in St. Louis, I found that it's just extremely important to get this out there. I'm a teacher by background as well, so seeing the decline in literacy is a major problem here for society. It's going to be something that's going to be, we have to solve it. We have to slam the brakes on the illiteracy. We have to turn it around. And what's cool about the book is that you can flip through and find stuff you like, or you can read it cover to cover. 325 individual vignettes, and I could have done 325 more. There's just so many great people that make the sports community, what it is.
Well, that's fantastic, man. I'm sure the second half is about to start soon.
Here, stay on, man. Stay on for the first couple of minutes. The second half, I'll do the PA, and then I'll look back at you.
All right, well, perfect. So while Joey's on, folks, you're tuning in to episode 164. This is a real treat here on Roundabout Sports. Adam, I got to ask you, we've been talking a lot about with spring training coming up on us. What has the Royals fans excited out there in the KC area?
Man, it's been a long time since we've had 3 years in a row where we think we're a potential playoff team. So the fact that we think we're a contender, we got the fences coming in. We think we're going to get more power out of Bobby Witt and Vinny. So there, and we still have the same starting rotation practically. So there's a lot of, honestly, like expectations are up this year. Expectations are playoffs this year.
Is there somebody that you're really expecting to see shine this year that looking to break out?
I don't know about the break. It'd probably be Jack Caglione. That's the guy that we want to see. That would be the one guy we want to see if he can kind of harness some of that power that he's been known to have.
Okay, well, I definitely am. I take a look at some of the talent out here in St. Louis. I know there is a lot. Of course, JJ Weatherhold is the biggest name that everybody is talking about. But of course, seeing somebody like Mason Wynn going out there, Lars Newbar going out there, you love to see it. Joey getting excited over there. I can tell you're having fun, man.
Thank you for doing it. It is fun. Just kudos to you guys for having me. And I hope you listen to 98.1 FM for the city games. We're also live on the home radio feed option on Apple TV. So that's in the right corner of your screen, Apple TV. 2, 3, John Hawkins.
There we go.
Man, this is a real treat for me. I'm telling you right now, I am loving this. So
make sure you join in. I had to cue the music there as well. Make sure you join in. And Apple TV, we're on every home game, 98.1 KYKY, through the Odyssey, AUDACY app for all the city home games. CBS Sports Galaza on YouTube for the Ambush. St. Louis Ambush having a great season on the indoor side. And at Chili_Xana across social media. Shoot me a message. I will bring you a book. The point saying, love you guys for featuring it. Thank you so much.
All right, my friend. We love you.
Cheers.
You take care. Joey Zanaboni, ladies and gentlemen, here on Roundabout Sports. Be sure to check him out. Man, that was a nice little treat we got there.
I love the energy to that, especially calling kids games. Those kids feel that energy. So
and once again, and now that I'm not gonna be accidentally blocking him or any of us, well, at least not fully. The book is St. Louis Sports for Kids: Forever Lore in the 314. And once again, be sure to reach out to Joey Zanaboni and reach out to Adam and I, and we'll be sure to help you get to the proper avenues in order to get your hands on one of these books, because I'm not going to lie, as a sports nerd, as a St. Louisan, this book looks pretty badass. I am not going to lie to you.
Well, what a cool way, especially if kids are into sports, kind of bring them into literature too. Like
I was going to say, I do like that. You know,
do you know what it reminded me of? The Sports Illustrated for kids, because I was really big into that.
Man,
having something on the table that a kid can just pick up, because you'd have magazines around the house or something like that, like a book to where a kid can kind of flip through it, and just kind of, it does promote reading, which I think is it's underrated. It's very underrated for the skills that you're going to need throughout the rest of your life.
I was going to say, it is definitely, reading is, it goes without saying, the fundamentals of how important it is and everything. And no, I love it. I think it's great what Joey's doing. I also want to give a shout out, although I don't have his newest book in front of me. I want to talk about my good friend, the good doctor, Dr. Jeremy Housewright. Not only is he doing a great honor for me and my fiance by being the photographer and videographer at our wedding, but he is a published author. I happen to have 2 of his books, For the Love of the Show, 1 and 2. But he's also delved into children's books as well, into sports card selling. I mean, so be sure to check him out. That's the good doctor himself, Dr. Jeremy M. Housewright, and reach out to him. So 1,000% highly recommended. Great stand-up guy. Moving on along now on Roundabout Sports episode 164. Man, we are in, technically, if we want to go by the how I've done it in the past, we probably would have had the season finale or the season opener a few weeks ago. So it ain't going to be this week. The one with Lucky when he comes on, and we finally are able to have Lucky on, is going to be the season finale. And I think it's going to be the season 5 finale, if I remember correctly. But people need to understand, I've done 164 of these. On top of the 60 plus of the Jeremy Carp show that I did years ago, I mean, you start to lose track about all these. I've done a lot of damn podcasts.
Now, dude, that's actually impressive. It's impressive that you've been at it for this long, especially with this particular show. I mean, you're a few years in, and the availability that you're pushing up on 200. I think that's a feat that.
Oh yeah, we're
celebrated by you, brother.
Well, and I appreciate it, and the success of this show isn't just me. It is to whoever has been my co-host, the ones who've co-hosted with me in the past, to you, to Babs, to AB, to Hollywood James Knox, to all of the guests. God, we have had so many guests on the show, like over the years, and and I'm not just talking like friends and colleagues. I mean, Hall of Famers, former NFL players, wrestlers, like all over the place.
You have had a pool of guests, dude. Like, it's been impressive. Just kind of a lot of these years watching from the sideline and just like, oh, that's a great guest to pull, and just that, and you're continuing to get new guests that have interesting stories or pushing things or legends, like you said. So, I mean, I'll give you a little clap, brother, because what you've done and what you've built here at I-70, it doesn't go without notice. And it's like you always say, it's only going to get bigger, and I truly believe that.
Yeah, and I really appreciate that, and I'm glad you're a part of it, and everybody that is a part of it. I want to thank our friends. I want to talk about, of course, the Blues Fan Forum podcast, which you would think if I'm hosting a show, I would talk the most about that. But the honest thing for me is I consider the Blues Fan Forum podcast the anchor show. They're the ones that hold it down every week. They go live stream at different bars. They go to all these watch parties. And of course, they have a plethora of guests on as well, and people may say, okay, well, Jacob and Dakota are fantastic, which they are. What if we want a different perspective of the St. Louis Blues? Henceforth, the STL Hockey Fan podcast, hosted by Corey Young, bless them for joining us just over the course of the past few weeks. You go to our Interstate 70 Sports Media YouTube channel. You'll find all of the episodes they've done so far. We're working on getting a multitude of other shows put on our YouTube channel. We just crossed 200,000 views on the YouTube channel. Really think about that, folks. So, and that's thanks to you all. Honestly, we're going to probably wrap it up this week. We covered the main, we went through everything we wanted to talk about. Adam, do you have any closing thoughts? Anything you want to talk about?
I just want to give a shout out to another podcast on here, the College Sports Show with Austin and Jordan. Austin is really good at podcasting. I watched a couple of his shows.
Oh, he's a natural.
He has such a talent. I haven't been able to tell him that personally, but I watched a couple of his shows, I believe yesterday or the day before. Great. He's such a great host. So that'll be my one last thing, is that go check out Austin's show, the College Sports Show, on YouTube. It's if you love college basketball,
that's a specialty too, man.
They know
that's what I love most about it, is that that's what Austin specializes in. Is he knows more about college sports than I could ever imagine. I have no problem in that.
I noticed that I was watching it and just watching him and his co-host kind of go through it and the plethora of different games and the different transfers and just the amount of information that they're able to withhold in college sports in general, which is it's so wide ranging. Yeah, it's a good show. Everybody should go check it out.
I absolutely agree. Well, we're going to wrap it up, folks, this week on Roundabout Sports. As always, be sure to find Roundabout Sports on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Pocket Cast, Amazon Music, and any and all other streaming platforms. Be sure to go to Facebook, X, and the official Interstate 70 Sports Media YouTube channel. Just hit that subscribe button. As of 7:29, heading into 7:30 on February 18th, we are at 309 subscribers. It just takes 1 second to make it 310. And of course, as always, we put up the NAMI helpline at the end of every show. For that, you dial 1-800-950-NAMI. That is 1-800-950-NAMI. The National Alliance on Mental Illness is the nation's largest grassroots mental health organization dedicated to building better lives for those who struggle with mental health issues. And also, we always put up the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. For that, you dial 988. The line is open 24/7, 365, 366 on leap years. Understand you're never alone in this world. There is always somebody who loves you, who cares about you, who wants nothing but the best for you. We all go through trials and tribulations in this world all the time, and your feelings are justified. What you go through matters. You matter. You were just a phone call, a text message, an email, an appointment away from what could be that life-saving moment for you. And you could be the listening ears and watchful eyes for somebody else in need as well. So once again, I want to thank my dear friend, Adam Frex. And I'm the Maestro, Jeremy Karp. And until next week, always remember, life is a book full of empty pages just waiting to be written in. Make your lives worth reading. Good night, everybody. And we'll catch you next time.